Have you never played Halo Combat Evolved? Don't worry, because in this video I will be explaining to you two things. Mostly in this video I'll be explaining to you the gameplay and how to play Halo Combat Evolved if you're a beginner, like I was. Um, but also give you a little bit of the setting of the synopsis, not the plot, because I don't want to spoil what actually happens. I don't want to spoil anything that happens in the actual plot of the game, so that you can, play it yourself and immerse yourself in the environment. But speaking of the environment, what is Halo Combat Evolved? And where does it take place? Well, it takes place in a 26th century science fiction setting. Faster than light travel called slip space allows the human race to colonize planets other than Earth. The planet Reach serves as an interstellar hub of scientific and military activity. The United Nations Space Command develops a secret program to create augmented super soldiers known as Spartans. More than 20 years before the beginning of the game, a technologically advanced collective of alien races called the Covenant begins a religious war against humanity, declaring them an affront to their gods. And the humanity's military experiences a series of crushing defeats. Although the Spartans are effective against the Covenant, they are too few in number to turn the tide. In 1552, Covenant forces attack Reach and destroy the colony. The starship Pillar of Autumn escapes the planet with the Spartan Master Chief Petty Officer John 117 on board. The ship initiates a jump to slip space, hoping to lead the enemy away from Earth. So that's so yeah, and that takes you to the plot of the game. But I want to explain to you about the gameplay. Moving on to the gameplay, Halo Combat Evolved is a first person shooter game in which players primarily experience gameplay in a 3D environment from a first person view. The player can move around and look up, down, left, or right. The game features vehicles ranging from armored 4x4s or 4x4s and tanks to alien hovercraft and aircraft, many of which can be controlled by the player. The game switches to a third person perspective during vehicle use for pilots and mounted gun operators. Passengers maintain a first person view. The game's heads up display includes a motion tracker that registers moving allies, moving or firing enemies and vehicles in a certain radius of the player. The player character is equipped with an energy shield that nullifies damage from weapons fire and forceful impacts. The shield's charge appears as a blue bar in the corner of the game's heads-up display, and it automatically recharges if no damage is sustained for a brief period. When the shield is fully depleted, the player becomes highly vulnerable, and further damage reduces the hit points of their health meter. When the health meter reaches zero, the character dies and the game reloads from a saved checkpoint. Health can be replenished through the collection of health packs scattered around the game's levels. Halo's arsenal consists primarily of science fiction weapons. The game has been praised for giving each weapons a unique purpose, thus making each useful in different scenarios. For example, plasma weapons need time to cool if fired too rapidly, but do not need to be reloaded and must be discarded upon depletion of their batteries. Whereas conventional firearms cannot overheat but require reloading and ammunition. In contrast to the large weapon inventories of contemporary FPS games, Halo players may carry only two weapons at once, calling for players to make tactical decisions when managing firearms. Halo departs from the traditional FPS conventions by not forcing the player to holster their firearms before deploying grenades or melee range blunt instruments. Instead, both attacks can be utilized while a gun is still equipped. supplementing supplementing small arms fire. There are two different types of grenades. The fragmentation grenade bounces and detonates quickly, whereas the plasma grenades adheres to targets before exploding, so it just sticks to them. The plasma grenade sticks to the targets, while the regular grenade, the fragmentation grenades bounces and detonates quickly. The game's enemy force is the Covenant, a group of alien species allied by belief in a common religion. Their forces includes elites, fierce warriors protected by recharging energy shields similar to the player's own grunts, which are short, cowardly creatures who are usually led by elites in battle and often flee in terror instead of fighting in the absence of a leading elite. Jackals, who wear a highly durable energy shield on one arm and plasma pistol on the other, and hunters, large, powerful creatures with thick armor plates that cover the majority of their bodies and a large assault cannon that fire explosive rounds of green plasma. A secondary enemy is the Flood, a parasitic alien life form that appears in several variants later in the game. Another enemy is the Sentinels, aerial robots designed by an extinct race called the Forerunners to protect their structures and prevent flood outbreaks. Sentinels are able to hover around in enclosed spaces and produce an energy shield when under attack. They lack durability but use powerful laser weapons. The player is often aided by the United States Space Command, the UNSC Marines, and the crew of the ship, who offer ground support, such as following the player and mimicking their tactics and manning gun turrets or riding shotgun while the player is driving a vehicle. Marine Air AI and crew member AI are differentiated by their uniforms but also act distinctively. The Marines engaging aggressively, while the crew members often cower or fire while retreating to cover. If the player kills too many of their teammates, they end up turning on the player and attacking him back. So don't do that. So yeah, that's pretty much the gameplay of Halo Combat Evolved. There you go. And now you know how to play Halo Combat Evolved. You got a little bit of the story. I gave you a little bit of the story while not, diving too much into, spoilers. So yeah, that's how you play Halo Combat Evolved, and good luck. So, this, you know, this game was a real-time strategy game that morphed into a third-person shooter before becoming a first-person shooter. And, during development, Microsoft acquired Bungie and turned Halo into a launch game for its first video game console, the Xbox. And yeah, so ever since it was released, this game was released, it was a critical and commercial success. Everyone, fans and critics, everyone, really loved this movie, and people are calling it one of the greatest video games ever made, which is very, very high praise. And the game's popularity led to labels such as Halo Clone and Halo Killer, which is applied to games either similar or anticipated to be better than it is. But yeah, the game spawned a multi-billion-dollar franchise with incorporated games, books, toys, films, you name it. And now we have a TV show, and yeah, season 2 is coming this week, the 8th, right? Season 2 of Halo, the TV show on Paramount Plus, is coming February 8th. Yes, Thursday. So yeah, very soon, very soon. And yeah, so there you go. And later on, the it, one very quickly, blah, 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 blah. Let's see here. In 2011, this game, Halo Combat Evolved, was, I guess you could say, it was remastered. Well, not remastered, but it was a remake of Halo Combat Evolved. It was in 2011. It was titled Halo Combat Anniversary. Um, and yeah, so 343 industries overseers of the Halo franchise approached Saber Interactive to develop a remake of Halo for the anniversary of this original game. Saber used its proprietary game engine to reproduce the graphics and the original Halo engine for gameplay. A development tool for toggling between the old and new visuals became a game feature. Anniversary's enhancements include a complete high definition visual overhaul, support for cooperative and multiplayer gameplay via the Xbox Live online service, new and remastered sound effects and music, and extras such as achievements and in-game collectibles. It is the first, the 2011 anniversary is the first Halo game to include Connect support. And yeah, the reception was pretty positive, was generally very positive. The updated graphics, sounds, and the ability to toggle between the remastered and the original visuals were also praised. But there were complaints about the anniversary for the technical glitches, the faults with the original game's level design, and the multiplayer implementation. But yeah, there you go. There you have it. That's all there is to say about Halo Combat Evolved. And yeah, there you go. And I'll see you in my next video. Peace.